Hey, what's going on? NoZoupForYou here, and today I have a final review of the Tier 7 German cruiser Munchen, or Munich. I mean, they're the same thing, so I'm going to call it the Munich from now on because I find it a little bit easier to say for myself, and I don't quite have to worry about the pronunciation as much as I would if I was calling it by its official German name. So as always with these reviews, we're going to start off with some stats about this ship, and then I'm going to go into the feels and what I think about the ship itself. So starting with the hit points, 32,650, and that's only because for some reason I decided to slap on survivability expert on this ship. I don't know why. I think it was just on the captain I had. So 32,500 is what you can get with that, and trust me, normally I would not waste the points on that for a Tier 7 ship, but that just happens to be the captain I threw on there just for testing purposes. And while I'm here, I might as well tell you what else was tested on it for transparency. Adrenaline Rush, Demolition Expert, Concealment Expert, AFT, Priority Target, and of course the mentioned Survivability Expert along with Expert Marksman. And once again, under normal circumstances, I would not be using Survivability Expert. I think this captain came over from a higher tier cruiser. I don't know, or maybe even a destroyer. I don't know. It's an odd mix-up right there. You know what? I rolled with it. I rolled with it for testing, and I stuck it. So 32,650 hit points, though it's probably closer to 31,000 or something like that. Artillery, you're looking at a main battery of 4 turrets with 2 guns each. Those are 150 millimeters. Your secondaries, don't expect to get that 11 or 12 kilometer secondary out of these. That's not going to happen. You got torpedoes, as with most German ships. You got 2 quad launchers, 1 on each side, 6 kilometers, 64 knots. That's pretty much standard for Germany. I mean, I really haven't ever seen anything else for it, so don't expect anything else. Maneuverability, you have a top speed of 37.8 knots with Sierra mics. This is actually pretty fast. Very enjoyable, very nice. Turning circle radius of 690 meters and a rudder shift time of 8 seconds. Your detectability with Concealment Expert and everything else is going to be 9.4 kilometers. So sub 10, very nice right there. For your equipment, what can you put on this ship? Well, you have your choice in the middle slot of Hydro or Defensive AA. And out of those two, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up, but you're probably going to use Hydro because you have fighters. And I really don't see the need for Defensive AA if you have those fighters, though. Had a couple of rounds today that made me think otherwise, because there's nothing like getting thrown in a round with a Tier 6 and a Tier 8 aircraft carrier double teaming you. Not very fun at all. And I thought that was done. We no longer had that, but apparently we still do. So on to the ship itself. Let's talk about the Munich and what I like about it and what I don't like about it. With every ship out there, it takes a little while to understand the nuances of that ship, how it handles, how it behaves, and let's just say my first 2 rounds in this ship were absolutely god-awful. I mean, I was embarrassed my first round ever in this ship. Granted, I was the bottom tier ship in a tier 9 battle. I mean, not the setup, the matchmaking I would like, but I went out there and embarrassed myself. I was the first one sunk. I had a good attitude about it, as I always do, but you know what? I was chasing a destroyer, and a Pommern came out of nowhere and pummeled me for half my hit points, and from there, it was just a matter of time before I sank. Next round I played in her, I thought things were going to go a little better. There were only 9 ships per team. I don't know, matchmaking decided to take the day off, and I was top tier against a bunch of tier 5s and a tier 6, and I said, you know what? I'm going to absolutely mop up this round. It's going to be awesome. And guess what? The exact same thing happened. At least this time I managed to get some more hit points, but same thing happened. And I quickly learned with this ship is not like most high tier German cruisers. It's not. You can't rely on your armor in this ship. The armor, in my opinion, is just not that good. Or at least it's not as good as other German cruisers. It's not what you've come to expect of German cruisers. So don't think of this as a brawling ship. Yeah, you've got torpedoes, but you do not want to try to get close enough to a battleship or even another cruiser to use these torpedoes, because if you do, you're likely going to get sunk in the process. These torpedoes are a last second, oh crap, what have I done type of defensive countermeasure. They are a last-ditch effort to save yourself from an enemy ship that just happened to pop out from behind an island. But as an offensive weapon, no, do not try to use these. Do not at all. So yes, the armor on the ship leaves a lot to be desired, and after the first couple rounds, I was really not liking this ship whatsoever. I found the AP to be weak, had trouble with it against just about every ship, even cruisers. I couldn't Citadel. I was like, what is wrong with this? This is supposed to be a German cruiser. Why is it not working? What is wrong with this thing? And then I changed up my playstyle. Because with most ships, any problem is usually user error. It's usually the player's inability to make that ship work for them. I truly believe there's no such thing as a bad ship in this game. I mean, yeah, there's some ships that are pretty crappy. I mean, Krasny Krim comes up, obviously, off the top of things. Although I'm sure there's players that make it work and are fairly good at it. By the way, if you do exist out there and you are a Super Unicum Krasny Krim player that has just oodles and oodles of rounds in her, please let me know. I'd be interested to talk to you. I'd be really interested. A, to wonder why the hell you'd want to play that ship that much, but B, to find out what you actually did. So yeah, there's no such thing as a horrible ship. It's just players that can't take advantage of those ships. And the first couple rounds, I was playing this ship completely wrong for the type of ship it is. But the subsequent rounds, I decided to slow down a little bit. Didn't rush in like an idiot. And I kind of hung in the back. Did a little more kiting. Didn't use AP. Used HE specifically. And guess what happened? I started to take advantage of this ship's abilities. And I started to realize that this ship is actually a pretty good ship. It's got a great fire chance on it, I've come to find. Or at least I feel it has a great fire chance. And that's another reason why you want to put Demolition Expert on it. But the fire is actually pretty good. I mean, I feel like I was setting fires a lot. And even though it's only pegged at 11%, I felt like I was starting fires left and right in it in some rounds. So this ship it's not a brawler. It's a kiter. It's like those early tier German ships. Like, what's that one that has the weird turret? The weird turret setup where they're offset on the backside. It's another one of those kiting German cruisers. And that's how you need to play this ship. This ship is all about using your mobility to your advantage because you're a fast ship. You're fast and you're pretty nimble. It's about using that to your advantage, capitalizing off of that while starting a lot of fires. And the HE does do pretty good damage. Against battleships, you're going to roll 3,000 damage or so, if not more, on good rounds. And you're going to start a fire at the same time. So, while the AP might not be that great on this ship, the HE, yeah, you don't really need that AP. And I find that this ship is fairly accurate. Your velocity on these shells is 875 meters per second. That's not horrible. The only thing that's left to be desired is your maximum range, which is only 16.6 kilometers. But I can see why that's the case now, because any further than that, and you might have kind of an advantage there because your guns are pretty good. And you've got a reload time of 5 seconds. So they're pretty quick firing as well. The key to this ship, stay in the back, dance around, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, kite the enemy, stay nimble, move around, and just sling that HE because you're going to melt battleships, you're going to melt other ships. And it took me a few rounds to figure this out. And in the end, I started to enjoy this ship a lot. I think it's a good ship. Yeah, it's got some weaknesses in some places, but that's good. That just makes this ship balanced. The fact that you can't rush in and brawl means that this ship is balanced. It has a purpose, it has a way to play it, and it's pretty fun. So if you've been on the fence about whether or not you want to get this ship, it's a good boat. It's good. It's fun. I've enjoyed it. So those of you out there that like that type of play style, that like kiting, that don't like getting up close and personal, but you feel safer out in the ocean, maybe even the open ocean, darting around, using your turning abilities to your benefit, you're the ones that are probably going to like this ship. You're the ones that this ship is aimed towards. If you like straight up brawling and using your armor to protect yourself, that's not this ship. Don't look for that in this ship, because you get battered pretty easily. Overall though, once I got the hang of this ship, found it to be a very enjoyable ship. Hope you enjoy it too. If you've picked her up, let me know what you think of her. If you plan on getting her, let me know down the road. You know, guys and gals, thanks for watching. Hope you all are doing wonderful. Be sure to like and sub and hit that notification button. And I'll catch you all later. Zoop out.